These are the best daily driver muscle cars you can buy for cheap. The sad truth about most muscle cars is that they make terrible daily drivers. Here, however, are some that are both insanely practical and cheap. While the Mustang, the Camaro, and the Dodge Charger Challenger are still around, the line between the muscle and the sports car has gotten a bit fuzzy around the edges in recent times. So when it comes to muscle cars, it's mostly the classics that people think of, the V8-powered beauties of the 60s, the 70s, and the 80s. Most of them are pretty pricey on the used car market, so for many, owning a muscle car and using it as your daily driver remains a pipe dream. And it's true. Owning a classic muscle car is not for the faint of heart because a classic requires maintenance, aftermarket parts, and some dedicated TLC. That said, there are some you can still buy for cheap, are fairly easy to maintain, and do make for great classic additions to your driveway. So here 10 best daily driver muscle cars you can buy for cheap. 10. 1978-83 Dodge Challenger Coupe. Disrespected muscle. The 1979 Dodge Challenger was the second coming of the Challenger and ended up disappointing people because it was, technically, a rebadged Mitsubishi Galant Lambda Coupe. That did not mean it was a bad car, just that people still expected the fiery looks and power of the original Challenger that ran from 1964 to 1974. But honestly, if you were looking for a daily driver muscle car, this one would make a lot of sense because it came with plenty of comfort and a way smoother ride than before. Plus this is a muscle car you can buy for cheap, even as low as $7,500. 9. 1970-71 Ford Torino GT, Mercury Cyclone GT. No Coke bottle. 1970-71 saw Ford Torino in its second generation and the Mercury Cyclone in its fourth. Initially, these were not muscle cars, rather passenger cars that came one trim above the Fairlane. With the GT trim, both these siblings entered the muscle car arena, although they never could achieve the Mustang Cougar success. The reason why you can have one of these today for less. Both these cars can be yours upwards of $18,000, although mint condition or resto mod models come pretty expensive. Most come with the 250 horsepower 5.8-liter V8s. Others have the Cobra Jet, but these can touch six figures even. 8. 1975 Ford Maverick Grabber. Looks like muscle. The Ford Maverick Grabber was Ford's attempt to try and sell as many cars as possible in the Malaise era and was nothing more than a very good-looking trim of the V8 Maverick, with absolutely no performance modifications. Giving Ford its due credit, they never marketed the car wrong, and called it more of a jazzy firecracker. It's not truly muscle, but it flexes better than the Mustang. And it can be yours, for cheap, for just $10,000 minus $20,000 a pop. 7. 1994 Chevrolet Camaro Z28, sleeker than muscle. The fourth generation of the Chevrolet Camaro did not account for many sales and it was badmouthed a lot, which it did not deserve. It came riding on top of the F platform and boasted decent performance as well as a smooth ride. The 5.7-liter V8 came mated with a 4-speed automatic transmission and made about 275 horses, although gentler engine models were also available for cheaper. An excellent car, you can buy it cheap, for less than $10,000. Here's one for $7,500. 6. 1993 Ford Mustang SVT Cobra, a rare beast. Just before the 1994 Mustang arrived, in its fourth generation, it sent off the last of the Fox body Mustangs with a bang, as the SVT Cobra trim. This also makes the 1993 SVT Mustang the only Fox body Cobra ever, and it gave 235 horses from its 5.0-liter V8, mated to a Borg Warner T5 manual transmission. The 0 to 62 miles per hour sprint of 5.7 seconds remains a distinct advantage, even today, and the looks of the Fox body Mustang will always be coveted. Here's one you can buy for cheap at $18,500. 5. 1985 Pontiac Firebird Trans Am, pure fighting spirit. The Pontiac Trans Am was one of the last muscle cars to bow down to the pressure and to muscle its engine, which is why its Firebird resurgence was also spectacular in the 80s, never mind the bird on the hood. 3 engine options went onto the Power-It, with the lowest making 155 horses and the biggest churning up 201 horsepower. The looks were sportier and meaner than before, the reason why it became KITT in the Knight Rider. Today, you can have this iconic muscle car, as a daily driver, for $10,000, and here's one listed at $8,500. 4. 1963 Ford Galaxy 500XL, full-sized power. Before the muscle, pony car craze hit the U.S. with the advent of the 1964.5 Mustang, the full-sized cars were waging their own engine wars. In 1963, Ford debuted the Galaxy 500XL, and everything about this car brimmed with extra. From luxury to size and finally, the high-performance engines, which ranged from an introductory 4.3-liter V8 and went to a range-topping 6.7-liter V8. You'd think the Galaxy 500XL would come expensive, but strangely enough, you can have it for under $10,000 today. In fact, here's a listing for just $7,500. Just make sure you have this kind of parking space for this daily driver muscle car. 3. 1975 Dodge Charger. Less brute, more plush. With the malaise era hitting the American automobile market with twin missiles of a scarcity of gas and emission control, and a downsized economy as the crowning glory, cars needed to change and adapt to the new market needs. This is why the 1975 model of the Dodge Charger became bigger, looked more luxurious, and came with 5.2, 5.9 and 6.6-liter V8s. Less street and more luxury. Even the advertising face changed from Steve McQueen to Jennifer O'Neill because now, it offered a smooth ride, gentle suspension, and land barge-like good looks. Here's a lovely model you can buy for cheap. At $8,000, it's a steal. 2. 1963 Buick Skylark Special. A first for U.S. automobiles. Introduced in 1961 as the Skylark Special, a trim of the Buick Special, by 1963 there were enough sales to turn the Skylark into a new nameplate, which happened in 1964. It boasted a 3.2-liter V6, which was a first for any American automobile, and to please the speedsters, it also had a 3.5-liter V8. It's a beautiful classic and the V6 sounds and performs almost like the V8, making either of the engines a good option. And for $8,500, it's a very affordable daily driver muscle car. 1. 1974-76 Dodge Dart Sport 360, quickest daily driver muscle car. The Dodge Dart, akin to its name, was speedy but an innocuous little thing that looked so much like the other's car you did not realize it came related to the Plymouth Barracuda. Have we got your attention now? The Dart entered its fourth generation in 1967, and by 1976, it finally gave up. But not before it still managed to jet 200 net horsepower from its 5.9-liter V8, eschewing the catalytic converter. The top speed, according to Car and Driver, was 121.8 miles per hour. We are blown away. Here's a resto mod for under $20,000.